Well, hello everybody, Martika here, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining, thank you for stopping by. You guys, last week, if you joined me, you know that I put up the first part of the series, Sewing High End on a Budget, Spring and Summer 2024. And I showed you a few dresses that were very high end, but I was able to find some patterns that was either an exact match or a very, very close replica. So this week, I have decided to do the same thing with some skirts, and I believe that I got pretty close here. So let's go ahead and get this started. So the first skirt that I'm going to show you is this Techno Taffeta Maxi skirt. You guys, this is a beautiful skirt, as you can see, with a beautiful price of $795. Now, for this skirt, I said, as gorgeous as this is, I'm just sorry, I can't swing that kind of money for it myself, but I can definitely make this. As you can see, it has a wide elastic band, very nice. I love the gathers in this skirt, and even in the back, there is an invisible zipper that I think is a nice touch to this skirt as well to get a really nice fit. However, it made me think of my favorite pattern, which is New Look 6381, and I call it my favorite pattern because I have made those pants so many times, but we're talking about the skirts right now. Now, first of all, in this pattern, it says easy just for knits, and it is a very easy to sew pattern. However, I will say that because the designer's piece is a woven, you can go either way. You can use a knit for the pattern, or you can try out a woven. And I say that because I have made the pants in a woven before, and it was by mistake, but it worked out just fine. So just try it, see if it works. However, you guys, let's talk about the line drawings of this pattern and why it matches this designer piece so well. So as you can see, you have your band. Now, the difference in the band is that on the pattern, it's not as wide. However, you can go on a search for a wider waistband. You can get on, say, like Etsy or some of your other online retail stores that carry, sewing notions and things like that, to where you can find a much wider band. Now, I don't know exactly how wide this band is, but I would put my guess in and say that it's about, maybe 5 inches wide, somewhere close to that, to give you that detail of this. Now, as far as the skirt, the gathers underneath, you got them already in this pattern. Now, the only thing that you don't have in this pattern are the pockets in the skirt, and I feel like you can simply add the pockets. And on the pattern itself, it does not have a zipper, but if you are experienced and you want to add an invisible zipper to it, you can definitely do so. So, another thing I would also do, I would shorten it to make it a midi length, because in the pattern, as you can see, it is a maxi length. So if you want to make it shorter, you can do that as well. But this is a gorgeous skirt, and I know that I can make it for a whole lot less. So let's move on to the next piece, which is this very cute denim skirt. Now, this is a belted button front A-line midi skirt. Very nice flow to this skirt. You have all of your buttons going down the front. You have a matching belt, the whole 9 yards. But you guys, for $834 on sale, let's put that out there. When I found this, let me put it like that. When I found this, it was on sale. It may not be on sale any longer, so you might have missed your chance. However, the regular price on this is $1,390. So if it's still on sale, you can save a little money there. But when I took a look at this, I said, well, let me see here, see what I can match this up with, because it has the buttons, it has the belt loops, it has the A-line flow, and it has like those built-in pockets on the side as well. Let's see what I can do. So I thought of a couple of different patterns. The first one that I thought of was a New Look 6346. This is an easy to sew pattern. If you are a beginner, you've never done buttons before, this one might make you want to do some buttons, you know? So you just never know. This may be a great time to learn how to do some. But I think that the fact that this pattern of this skirt that the model is wearing, view A, is an A-line skirt as well. As you can see, it has the same type of flow. The only thing that it is missing is the belt loops and the belt. So let's look at the line drawings on here. So you have your waistband, which your designer skirt has as well. It's a little gathered at the waistband, but that's okay. You do have your buttons down the front, and it even looks like they stop around the same place. You can simply add some belt loops and a belt to this to get an almost exact replica of this. Or if you just really want the detail and you want it already pieced out to where you can kind of just go ahead and put it together and not have to draft anything, you could also use McCall's 7906, where you get this same look. And there are a few differences here, so let's look at the line drawings on this. As you can see, you do have a belt. This is a tie belt on the pattern, but it is a belt, and all you would need to do is add a belt buckle to it. Purchase your buckle and add a belt buckle to it. And you have your loops. Now, your loops may not be as wide on the designer skirt, but I actually like the wide belt loops myself. Now, the biggest difference to this is the fact that this particular pattern has pleats, okay, and that's what makes the design the A-line form of the skirt. Now, if I wanted to do this skirt and make it look more like the designer piece without the pleats, what I personally would do is go ahead and get the size that I know that I need, and I would go ahead and pleat it out on the pattern piece itself before I cut out my fabric. Now, you could do that if you've never done that before, or if you are using a fabric that you don't have enough to cut out two of these. I would definitely say do a muslin before you do that to make sure that the fit is where you need it to be. But yeah, I would go ahead and put those pleats in there in the pattern piece, and then I would go ahead and cut out the fabric. Another thing that this pattern already has are the pockets. So you already have your built-in pockets to this pattern as well. So that gives you two options to get this look of this denim skirt here if you were wanting to make this. So let's move on to the next one. So here we have this beautiful, it's the poppy striped maxi skirt. How gorgeous is this? You guys, you have your horizontal and your vertical stripes by turning that fabric around and cutting it at different angles. But you get all of this for $1,295. Yes, you get all of this for that. But instead of spending that on a skirt, because I have other places that I would like to spend that instead, I actually would want to take a look at a few different patterns on this, okay, because I was able to find you a few. But let's look at a couple of more details. You have a zipper in the back, an invisible zipper, and you even have some side pockets, okay? So just to point that out to you before we look at these patterns. So the first pattern that I came up with is Simplicity 9472. Now, I am not looking at the one that the model is wearing because, as you can see, it has a split up the side, okay, and it's not a maxi. But I am looking at View D, and this is an easy to sew pattern as well. So let's look at it. So the first thing that I noticed that's a little bit different about this pattern is that there is a little tiny waistband strip up top, okay? You can gel that into that top wide band as one, and cut that out as one if you are, pretty experienced and know how to do something like that. Or if you don't mind having that little band up top, you can just cut it as is, okay? The other thing I noticed is that This skirt does have a invisible zipper, but it is on the side, okay? The designer piece is in the back. But it already has the pockets in this pattern. So you guys, we are talking about like almost an exact replica of this. Now, at the waist, at that waistband where the A-line skirt starts itself, where you have those gathers, it seems to me that there is not like as much gathering at that band, and you could probably control that yourself if you just want that loose, that more loose of a gathered look, or if you don't mind all the gathers, you put as many or as few as you need to get the look that you want. If you need to lengthen this skirt to make it a maxi length, you can do that, but view D is already a maxi length, so you put the length wherever you want it to be. Now, the next pattern that I thought of was New Look 6516. I have made this skirt before, and it is very, very easy, also very beginner friendly. So I was looking at view A, okay, and that is actually the view that I made years ago when I did make this skirt. Very easy to put together. Now let's look at the line drawings, because there is a split up the side of view A, but you can easily just omit that split and just sew it down, and you just have your whole piece. Now the difference with this also is that you have an elastic waistband, a little tiny waistband up there with elastic through it, so you can choose to keep that if you were sewing this pattern. I personally would, and you can omit the zipper part of it. It's all about the fabric, okay, and it's all about the way that you are turning your design when you are cutting your pieces out. So if you want those horizontal and vertical stripes, like mix and match just like the designer piece, you just simply turn your fabric just the same way that it is done on this pattern. Very, very simple. One more pattern I thought of with this particular skirt, because this wasn't even the only one. There's several patterns out there that kind of mimics this skirt, but this one is New Look 6668, okay? And this particular skirt, let's look at the line drawings on this one. Besides the waistband being elastic, all you would need to do with this skirt is widen that top band a bit more and add pockets, and you pretty much got this skirt, you guys. It's as simple as that. So yeah, I was pretty excited, you know, about these, because it just amazes me at how you can just come up with these exact matches like this. Just about, it makes you wonder if the designer is using the pattern, or if whoever's designing the patterns have seen these. It's just like that in the fashion world. You get ideas and inspiration from each other. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's move on to the next one. So we have here what is called a handkerchief skirt, okay? And this one is a pleated handkerchief hem midi skirt, okay? As you can see, the fabric itself is pleated. So let's look at the details of it. It at the bottom of it, it is like that handkerchief cut all the way around, okay? And then on the side, it looks to me, I couldn't really tell, but it looks to me like there may be an invisible zipper on the side, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to be honest with you on that. Then you have a small band on this particular pattern as well. I'm sorry, on this particular design as well. Now, this is for a whopping, I didn't mention it, $1,850. Let's go back to that, okay? This pleated handkerchief hem midi skirt is $1,850. So let's see what we can make for a whole lot less. New Look 6721. And you guys, I was not just looking for New Look patterns. These are the patterns that actually came up and even came to mind with some of these skirts, because I just remember seeing them, or I remembered having them, so on and so forth. I actually have this pattern. But yeah, New Look 6721. As you can see, this is a handkerchief midi skirt, okay, that the model is wearing. View B is what we are looking at, okay? Now, view A on this pattern is the same. It's just that view B is color blocked. All right, that's the only difference. So let's look at the line drawings. So on the line drawings, of course, you have the cut at the bottom. You do have a belt with this, okay, but you can omit the belt to get this look, okay? Just totally omit the belt, and you can omit the belt loops, okay? It's not needed if you are going for this designer look. Now, in this pattern, you also have pockets. You can omit the pockets, or you can choose to keep them. It's totally up to you. But what about the pleated fabric? You guys, there is pleated fabric all around. So if you like this look of this pleated handkerchief hem midi skirt, you can get the same look and save yourself we're gonna say over $1,000 and hundreds of dollars. Okay, you can do that just by getting the right fabric. I just think that it is absolutely amazing what we can do when we sew. So let's move on. So the next one is this cargo cotton midi skirt with the drawstring hem. Where have we seen this before? But let's talk about this price first. $2,795. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. Now, as far as the fabric goes, I mean, it to me, looks like your regular, cotton, khaki colored, linen, maybe some twill. I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know is that I'm not gonna pay $2,795 for this skirt, but we can definitely sew it. But let's look at some details. With this skirt, you do have your fly front. You have some belt loops to where you can put your own belt around. You do have your drawstring tie at the ends, and then you even have pockets on the back of this skirt, okay? But let's talk about the patterns the pattern that I personally thought of. There were a couple, but this one really did it for me. And this is McCall's 8452. You guys, I'm looking at the one that the model is wearing, and that is view B. If you look at the detail, you can see that it is really, really close. We just need to omit some things here, okay? So let's talk about it. Let's look at the line drawings. You see that you have your drawstring at the bottom, so we don't need to worry about that. Now, if you wanted to, you could not do the drawstring and the elastic band of the waistband, and you can kind of reconstruct that and do you some belt loops and put your belt through it if that's the look that you want. You can also, as you can see, the designer skirt piece, it looks like it has some panels, that kind of makes it look like a two-piece skirt, that top and that bottom. You have some panels going on there. You can do that, in your own pattern if you wanted to kind of separate the two pieces and cut two pieces of fabric, then put them back together. You can do that as well. The fly front, it doesn't have a fly front. If you know how to construct the fly front, you can. I mean, me personally, I'm fine without it. Now, another thing you can do is in view B, you can omit all of those pockets. And then you can go with the front pockets at the top on view C, okay? Now, that to me mimics this designer skirt the closest, okay? It's not necessarily the built-in pockets like it has, but it gets pretty close, okay? And then you can simply take and put pockets on the back if you wanted those back pockets on the back of your skirt. But all in all, this one gets really, really close. Maybe not exact, but you can create this and you can make it your own, and you can save yourself almost $3,000, okay? Yes, you can. So, moving on to the last one. And I really need you to sit down for this one, okay? Because we're going to talk about this linen midi skirt with pellet Magnolia embroidery. Absolutely beautiful for $7,695. Now, I can already hear you going, what? Whoa, are they crazy? I can hear all that, okay? I can hear it. Yes, I can, because that all that was going through my mind too. I had to really study this skirt and get up close and personal to see why in the world this straight pencil type skirt was $7,695, other than it being, of course, an Italian designer. And like I told you, anything that is basically made, you know, by an Italian designer is gonna cost some money. But if you see up close here, okay, so let's look at it. The back, you have a back split. You do have it looks like an invisible zipper that might be on the back, maybe. I couldn't really get just too close to it, but maybe on the back or the side, doesn't really matter. And then you have some sequin with some embroidery going on. That's what I saw in this skirt. So maybe it's this unique fabric. I still don't get $7,695 out of it, me personally. I'm speaking for me. But I don't knock the designer, you know, because hey, that's what they do. It's a beautiful skirt. However, I knew that if I looked hard enough, I would find the pattern that I could do something like this with, because I thought that this was like a brocade fabric. Okay, that's what I thought of. And I think that you can simply get some brocade fabric, beautiful fabric, and make this with Simplicity 9555. You guys, we are talking about view D of this particular pattern. So let's look at it. You have your front. Now, the designer piece, I don't think it has any darts. But as I said before, if you don't want the darts to show, do your darts in your pattern piece and then cut it out of your fabric. You turn it to the back. You have your invisible zipper back there. So to me, it probably don't matter if there's a zipper in the back or on the side. It's supposed to be an invisible zipper. So yeah, let's leave that there. Then you have your split. You have a vented split in the back. But you can kind of reconstruct that and take that, you know, the vented part out if you want to and just do the split like the designer piece. I personally am completely fine with the vent, okay? You can take it as high or as low as you want it and save yourself almost $8,000. You're going to save yourself like, I'm not going to calculate. You determine how much you're going to save yourself. You tell me in the comments how much you're going to save yourself on this skirt, okay? Let me hear from you. And let me know how much you are going to save yourself, okay? So, you guys, as usual, I hope you have enjoyed this skirt edition of this Sewing High End on a Budget series. I have definitely enjoyed putting this one together. And yeah, just stay tuned and you will see what else is coming up. So if you haven't watched last week's, which was the dress edition, be sure to go back and watch that. I will link the video. I will put the link in the description box. But you be sure to go back and watch that one as well if you have not already. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. This has been fun. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great one. Bye-bye.